Good morning, ladies. Ooh. Good morning, ladies. I hope everyone is having a blessed Sunday morning. We are here this morning for coffee and conversation. I'll give you guys a few minutes to get on. This is one of my favorite songs. This is just the instrumental, but it's one of my favorite songs. Ladies, do y'all have y'all coffee for today? Because we're finna have some good conversation today. We gonna have a special guest, Myesha. I am super excited today because we're talking about a topic that many of us are working on, including myself. We're going to be talking about faith over fear. So just a little bit about me. I am afraid to speak in public. I'm afraid of public speaking. So you guys are helping me with my fear of public speaking, right? So every week we've been doing these lives for Coffee and Conversation and Successful Women in Business Saturdays. And that's been helping me overcome my fear of speaking in public. And I know that, right now we're in a space where we can't really go out that much to speak with each other, and have in-person conversations. So I think that is good that we have this coffee and conversation so we can see what's going on in each other's lives. Good morning, Edith. How are you? Thank you for joining. Good morning, Natalia. Good morning, Felicia. Rise and shine. Girl, I'm a morning person. Actually, I'm an all-day person. I be hyped all day. I don't know where I get all this energy from, but I just really be excited about life all the time. And once you start operating in your purpose and your calling that God has called you to do, you are excited. You are really excited about life. No matter what happens, you are excited. Oh my gosh. So this morning we're going to wait a little, just a few more minutes for Myesha to get on. Just a little bit about Myesha Knibbs. She's actually an inspirational speaker. She has 2 children. She works in corporate America, and she also owns her own health and wellness business. Okay, so this is a phenomenal woman that we're going to have on here today. She is phenomenal. I met her when I was in California at a network marketing meeting, and I met her, and we were talking about how she was going to buy a house in Florida, and she was excited from moving from New York to Florida. And at that time, I was doing real estate. So we connected in that way. And ever since then, we've remained connected. So it's important that we stay connected to people that we meet in life, right? Because you never know. You never know how you can help each other, how you can serve each other. So it's always important to stay connected. All right. So I'm about to get her on so we can get this conversation started in just 1 second. And also, ladies, if you have a topic that you would just like to talk about, you don't have to be an expert. If you would just like to talk about, let's talk. Like, you can come on coffee and conversation, because you don't know what is going to help the next woman, right? So with whatever topic that you have, it could really help someone. Your story can help someone. So if you have a topic that you want to talk about, just let me know, message me, put it in the comments, and I will reach out to you, and we can have a private conversation to get you on coffee and conversation. So for the next few weeks, we have a lot of topics that are coming up. We have financial budgeting, we have mental health, Let's see what we're gonna have a Zumba class. We have Bar Brittany. She's gonna be doing a Valentine cocktails, and she's gonna teach us how to make some cocktails for us single ladies. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about the journey that God has us on. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this group, right? For this group and just believing in the vision. So right now we're gonna have Myesha again. Hi, Myesha.
Hey.
Hey.
Down am I?
I'm sorry. Can you flip your camera?
It's upside down?
Yeah. So we can see you.
That's weird. Okay. One moment, guys.
Now, Myesha is an inspirational speaker. At least once a week, she will be going on live, and she do personal development on her Facebook page. And at the end of this conversation, I'm going to send you guys over to her Facebook page so you can check it out, because this girl is a boss. Oh, that looks good, Myesha.
Yeah, that's weird because I usually do videos that way. Okay. But hey, guys.
So welcome. Thank you so much, Myesha, for taking the time today to talk with us about a topic that I was just telling them about, that I am afraid to speak in public, right? So I'm overcoming my fear by having these coffee and conversations and Successful Women in Business Saturdays. So thank you for giving us your time to talk with us today about overcoming fear.
Thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. So to get the conversation started, yesterday we had a mini conversation, just you and I, and we talked about some things that we feel will help us overcome fear, right? And start creating action in our lives. So what is one of the first things that you think will help us?
Well, one thing that I really believe in is that you have to be clear on exactly what you want, right? Because everybody has that nagging, everybody has a desire for something that they want. They know they have a calling, and they may not know exactly that it's a calling or so. However, it's a desire. So once you have a desire for something, you need to know that it's attainable, it's something that you could achieve. But a lot of times, what gets in our way is our minds. It's all within our mindset, you know? So
Right.
that's the first thing, right? Is identifying what keeps someone, like almost tapping you on your shoulder. There's something always tapping you on your shoulder. You know you need to be doing this. You know you need to be doing this. But a lot of times,
Right.
you never seen your aunt or anybody in your family, let's say, open up a restaurant. So you start having these doubts. You know you could cook. You know that you could own a business, right? Let's just use that example. But then that voice says to you, but I never seen anybody in my family or anybody that I know operate a business. So who am
Right.
I could open a restaurant?
Right.
Those little voices in your head starts coming. So that's something that, that's where that doubt increases fear. But even before we even get into that, there's definitions that I want to go over real quick.
Okay.
There's definitions I want to go over real quick to bring things into perspective, right? So,
Right. Right.
and it's really interesting when you bring it into perspective. So, fear, right, is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that somebody or something is dangerous, right, and is likely to cause pain or a threat. There's a verb for it, which is be afraid, as likely to be something dangerous, painful, or threatening, right? So
Right.
when we think about a goal that we have, right,
Mhm. Right.
and we get these doubts, we equate it with pain. We equate it
Mhm.
with pain, and we tend to exaggerate like things in our minds, meaning we see a situation and we think it's bigger than what it is.
Right. Right.
That don't we all do it? Don't we
Mm-hmm.
all do it? And I can't see comments in here. I don't know if I'm like, oh, I see it now. Yeah, but we tend to see that. But this is what I want to go over too
Okay.
before we even go into fear.
Okay.
So there's universal laws.
Mm.
Universal laws that brings your desires into reality, right?
Okay.
So the first law that I'm going to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
everybody heard about the law of attraction. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
probably heard about it. It was the big thing, the secret. What is it? The secret. Then you have the Moses Code. A lot of people probably hear. There's plenty of different books. There's plenty of different videos that talks about it. But a lot of people don't know about the law of vibration. And I feel like the law of vibration comes
Mm.
first before we go into the law of attraction. And the meaning of the law of vibration is that it states that everything in the universe moves. We're consistently in motion, right? So everything is vibrating at one speed or another. So everything that you see is vibrating at one frequency, and so are you. Which means
Right.
that I love how you started this, because you said that you don't know if you're a morning person or maybe you're an all-day person because you're always on a high, meaning that you are operating at a high frequency. We are all
Oh,
operating on, that high frequency. But what does fear cause? It causes us to
lower
get,
our frequency.
get low. When you think about your desires, and then when you start telling yourself like, I don't know if I could do this, or I'm scared, that brings your energy down, which means that that's vibrating at a lower frequency, right? So the goal every day is to vibrate higher, because
Yeah.
when you vibrate in a high frequency, growth will come, right?
Amen.
So what is law of attraction? Just to
Mm.
go over this real quick, because I think this is really important to talk on the topic of fear and faith, because you have to know that anything that you desire, anything that you want, you will get. Not
Yeah.
when you want, probably, but you will get it. And this is comforting words, and it's a promise. It's a promise that if you really keep on getting that desire, it was meant for you. It was meant for you,
Right.
right? That's something that's really excellent. So the law of attraction responds to whatever you are offering by giving more of whatever you are vibrating.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
to Google that, that's the definition of it. So that's why a lot of people tend to go to the law of attraction without knowing about the law of vibration. And then it's like it doesn't click until you know about the vibration, because we all operate on different frequencies. So
Mm.
if you're operating on a high frequency and then you are bringing forth to you what you want, because that's what manifestation is, bringing forth to your hand, seeing it. It's clear, it's meaning clear or obvious to your eye, right? It's
Mm.
being clear, so it's evidence and proof of what's to come.
Yes.
So once you have that evidence of what's to come to you, just remember this. If you don't take anything from what we talk about, always
Yeah.
remember this. Everything in life happens to us twice. First into our mind, and then it comes into reality.
Oh my gosh, Myesha, that reminds me of like, because we used to go to a lot of events, and they always say it's not going to manifest in the physical until it manifests in the spiritual. So
Yes.
that's what they were saying about that.
Yeah, and it's serious, because
Wow.
yesterday, even with our conversation, something that we spoke about clearly is that when you think about it, and I want everybody to jog their minds, what you have in your reality right now is things
Mhm.
that you desired in your mind first. The home that you're in was on a floor plan. It was brought up in the mind first, then it became into the physical. So that's really something important to know, because there's no difference between you having a floor plan for your home and somebody building it, to where you building the floor plans for your dreams and your goals.
Got you. So that's why they say write the vision and make it plain, because that's your floor plan. So when you write it out, that's what's going to happen to you. It may not happen in your timing, but it will happen, right?
Exactly. I hate that I can't see the comments. But yeah, it's clear. That's why you have to be clear on exactly what you want. So you have to write it down. You know, not a lot of people like to type, write it down on paper, pen and paper, and write it down daily. Reason why you're gonna write it down daily and is because one, you're programming that subconscious mind to increase your desire. We can't get anything that that we don't desire, and we have to have a burning desire to actually achieve it, especially when it's a big goal. So when you create a burning desire for what you want, meaning like you don't just think about it one time, like a thought passes your mind, you think about it on a consistent basis. I always say, I started off by saying you have that thing that keeps on nudging you and tapping you. When are you going to get to work? When are you going to get to work? So this is to go back onto the topic of fear. What happens to a lot of people is that doubt, that negative self-talk comes. And fear is crippling. But I know people probably hear the acronym that fear is false evidence appearing real. Because it's true. Because we are the ones that's tending to exaggerate it in our minds.
Right. And I totally agree with that. And I think that sometimes with fear and the doubt, it comes from other people. So in your mind, it's saying, I can't do this. I'm not worthy. I can't accomplish this. It's other people who have implanted that in your mind because of their fear. So how would we get over that and kind of figure out what's our energy and somebody else's energy that's in our mind?
Yes. So one thing that I'm big on saying this, so funny. I'm so big on saying this is that OPOs, which is opinions, other people's opinions is not going to get you where you want. I say opinions will never pay your bills. That's one thing. Opinions will never pay your bills. Now, here's the thing. People that gave up on their dreams and goals are the first to want to give advice. They always want to give advice. And just because another person gave up on their dreams does not mean that it's not possible for you. So just like we use the analogy of a restaurant, nobody in your family ever owned a restaurant, and maybe you speak these goals, these ambition goals and desires to do it, you have to get around people that have. Because if you start speaking these goals to people, people's going to empower you. They're going to uplift you. They're going to push you towards it.
Right.
They're going to keep on pushing you towards it. So that's where we have to stay away from the naysayers. And it's not 100% cutting yourself off from the people that you love, but sometimes you have to seek out mentorship. You have to get around another circle.
Amen. I definitely agree with that, because once I started in network marketing, that's when my mind started to expand and started to believe more and started to be more creative and to become who I was called to be. I was in a different environment with people who thought higher than me, who who experienced life on a total different level than I did. I'm this girl from this small town, and I never seen like people driving like Range Rovers and living in these big houses and driving. What is that car called? Not the Bentley. What is that called? The Rolls Royce. The Rolls Royces, and traveling the world and doing all these things. Like, my mind was not there, and so they brought my belief system up by showing up for events and meetings and, having that mentorship and that guidance. Like, you can have whatever it is that you desire.
Yes.
So, mentorship is key.
It's true. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you're within your circle, that's all you know. So you're like, I don't see other people doing this. And then you start to feel like it's not of the norm. But when you elevate and you get around people that's doing it, like it's everyday talk to them. You feel like the small fry, like, whoa, am I dreaming big enough? And then you start to expand your vision because you're around Remember, they say you go out to 5 people who you surround yourself with, which is so true. Now, here's the best thing. If you physically can't get around them, listen to audios. Person who's about, listen to audios, get on their lives. You don't have to physically meet somebody for them to be your mentor. You don't. You could keep them plugged in your ears. And if you listen enough, then you're going to start believing and dreaming big. And then that's when you're going to start taking those steps. And when you take one step, you start to take another. And this is the step that gets over fear. Inactivity increases fear. When you stay planted and don't work on your goals and you stay in your mind, the fear increases. And that's when it starts to cripple you. But when you start taking the steps, you realize that you're not gonna die. You know, it's a no is not gonna put you in a grave. Or if you make a mistake, you're just like, okay, let me go this way. That's how you get over fear. Action. Action takes away all fear. Action will relieve you from all your fears. So you just gotta remember to stay in that activity mode, and you're going to start getting results. And it's gonna boost your confidence. And that's where you're gonna start vibrating higher and higher.
Wow. Wow. I definitely agree with that. Because I know, like, I've always, like you said, I would get on their lives, I would listen, I would agree. I'd be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I would never take the action step. It was something that I was missing. I'm like, why am I not getting too far? Because I wasn't taking action. And once I started taking action and like getting rid of the self-doubt and the fear, you know, of speaking in public, then things start flowing more in my favor once I start taking action on some of the goals and dreams that, you know, I had.
Yeah.
So I
You know what
definitely
statistics says, public speaking, people rather die than do public. So
didn't speak in
that's
public.
the fear that people have. It's crazy. That's the number one fear that's been proven, you know, statistically. And that's the thing. I used to do that too. I used to watch people that's successful, right? And be like, well, you know, that's probably for them, but not for me. And I used to watch and I used to compare. But then when I started to do the little steps and when I started to get around people that were meant for me and tell me that you just got to do the work and you can have what they have. The thing about it is, if you believe, and this is the thing, you have to believe that you could achieve in order to do it. So if you tell yourself that you won't, you literally won't. But if you tell yourself that you can and you will and you pushing forward and you doing those little action steps, you can surpass anybody through anything. And it's even not to surpass it, you can surpass your own expectations because the only person that you should be in competition with is yourself.
Is you.
Yeah, not even nobody else. You could use another person to be like, hey, I want to emulate or do some friendly competition within, you know, your own realm and say like, hey, this is just to push me. It could be one of your burning desires to even make you elevate. But at the same time, it's just you got to take those first steps because whatever you telling yourself and you believe, that's where you're going to, that's what you're going to do. We're guided by our minds.
Wow, I definitely agree with that. So, what are some of the tools that we could use moving forward to overcome fear? I know yesterday when we were talking about gratitude, right? And just being grateful, right?
Yeah. And that's where that is really a tool where if you are grateful for the little things,
Mm.
that's how you could get increased. You have to be grateful for everything. We usually call it sprouts. I remember I went to a seminar in 2014. I was Danny Johnson's seminar, and she taught me that everything that you have to use gratitude towards. Because if you're not grateful for what you have, if you're not grateful for the little, how are you supposed to get increased? So every day we have to express gratitude. Because if you don't express gratitude, then you're not going to elevate into another level.
Right.
You could take care of the little things, that's when you could be trusted with more and plenty.
Hmm.
That's the thing that we're missing out on. We have plenty. You know, we have a bed to lie on. We have water. We have clean water. We have fresh food. Some people are not fortunate to have that. You may not be where you want to be at this moment, you know, financially. A lot of people is not there at this moment. However, when you actually are grateful for what you have, that's when you can start to see increase and elevate. So gratitude should be a practice that you practice every day, to just say thank you, thank you. Every single day, I tend to a mentor of mine told me to write down 10 things that you're grateful for and send love to people, send
Yeah.
people daily. And I've
Yeah.
been utilizing that practice. And really, since I've been doing that, like, little things don't frustrate me. Now I'm a human being. Like, I'm
We
a piece of
human.
work, so just like everybody else, like, I have to work through a lot, because you're dealing
Right.
with 30-something years of habits. But it's growth. It's a growth process. It's a journey. And that's what we talked about, the different levels. When people say that there's levels to it, there really is. Because one, you have to identify what you want. You have to focus and conquer your mind, your paradigms, your habits, create your routines. You have to do different things to get you in action, and you have to express gratitude every single day, because without gratitude, you're not going to grow into another level.
Right, exactly. And I know with the gratitude piece and taking action piece, just taking many steps. I remember yesterday when you were talking about, if you want to overcome your fear, you have this huge goal, right? So you want to take many steps and celebrate along the way on the journey to that big, big goal that you have.
Right.
And that'll help so you don't get defeated.
Exactly, because what happens when you don't hit your goals, all right? What happens when you don't hit your goals? This
You
is the
get
thing. When you set goals, it's not going to happen when you think it's going to happen most of the time. If it's a stretch goal, if it's a big goal that you have, you may want to accomplish it next month. But at the same time, you have to grow and evolve into the person to hit that goal, meaning that you can't stay the same in order to do it. And that's why personal development is important, where you have to, read or just take the actions to perfect your craft. You have to do that. So what happens is, most of the time people set a date, because you always hear, like, set a time stamp to hit your goals. Now when they say hit a time stamp to hit your goals, it's a date for you to just be like, to get there. But at the same time, when you don't hit it, what most people do is, like, they throw in the towel and they give up.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, when you give up, you're never going to get what you want. Quitters never win, winners never quit. But the thing about it is,
Yeah.
you just have to be grateful that you grew,
Yeah.
and you have to keep on persistent. When you persist, you get everything that you want. Everything. When you persist, when you stay consistent, when you take action, and when you don't give up, what you exactly want happens for you. So don't get deflated when that time doesn't come. I was telling Kara yesterday, when I wanted to purchase my home. As she mentioned earlier, I told anybody that would listen. Like, I wanted to, and
She
that
was like, I'm moving to Florida and I'm buying a house. And
was,
I think that was like one of the first
I was
things you said to me.
that I know, because she told me she was in Tampa. That's what hit the net. And I'm trying to move, and the reason I'm a big hurt. I believe on speaking what you want. Now, don't go telling everybody your whole game plan, because there's people out there that's gonna tell you, like, yeah, you can't do that, and that may get you like, okay, should I? But speak on it. Speak about it. People could joke on you. I remember people like, oh, you talking about this, but when it's going to happen? Remember, I was living in New York. I wanted to move to Florida. I don't have no family in Florida. I don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in Florida, and I never owned a home, you know. Um, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and Marlboro Projects. I moved into another neighborhood, which is like a better neighborhood. But me owning a home, like, I didn't know what process it took. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen when I wanted to, but it happened. I had obstacles. But here's the thing, your obstacles is your opportunities. And that's what we need to recognize. All obstacles is our opportunities. And Think and Grow Rich, this is the same. Failure happens, right? But it's disguised, right? When you're about to get your major breakthrough, it's disguised with temporary defeat.
Whew.
So you gotta be careful because it's disguised with temporary defeat, that's where most people throw in the towel, not realizing that the breakthrough is right around the corner.
That is so true. Those are all facts. And I like what you said, and I wrote this down. Persistence, consistency, and taking action are 3 steps that's going to help you overcome your fears. Being persistent, keep going, no matter what, just keep going. Being consistent with whatever it is that you're trying to do, and then just take action and get it done. And me and Myesha were talking about that yesterday. Like, your girl, I got a lot of fears, right? So last year I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done being fearful, and I'm going to take action. So with me, just being consistent and taking action on just writing my blogs each week. I'm going to write a blog each week. It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? It's going to be done. And since I started, go ahead, Myesha.
No, I said exactly.
Yeah, because and since I started, I can see the growth, right? I can see the growth in my writing. I can see the growth in the amount of people that are reading it. I can see the growth because I made a decision that I'm not operating in fear anymore. I'm operating on a higher vibration. So, and some people going to be served and helped in this season. Yeah. And I have a lot to offer to the world. See, when I was, and I'm still in corporate America, I would always feel rejected, unappreciated, less than, not worthy. And so all of those feelings that other people were projecting on me, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough, and that people wouldn't want to read my writings or watch the shows or anything like that, because the environment that I was in made me feel less than, right? So I had to overcome all those fears and all those boundaries that were in my head from other people to be able to start taking action and believing more in myself and in my capabilities.
Yeah. And that's what happens. And most of the time when people make you feel a certain way, that's their own insecurities. That's their own insecurities. And we all have doubt with things that we know that we should accomplish, but we just have to do it. Just like I told you, where I don't want to be a one-track mind, I have to get outside of just thinking like, if I do that, it's going to distract me from this. A calendar. Excuse me. Calendar. So if we schedule it, exactly. My calendar look crazy. I gotta have
calendar is crazy.
Exactly. So even when we was discussing like the blog ideas, it's like I said, I just have to start doing it, because we are the only ones that stop ourselves. Remember what I said, whether you tell yourself you can or you can't, you're right. Nobody's gonna be behind you. You will get signs. Now, let me not say that. And I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but you will get signs that you need to, like, there's gonna be something there that's gonna be nudging you to do what you gotta do. You're gonna see signs, you're gonna see numbers, you're gonna see different like little things that's going to remind you that you need to be stepping into your greatness. And it's not by coincidence. So I'm gonna say that. You may see animals that appear on a consistent basis. You gotta identify it. Most ones that people see the most is like numbers, because it's something that we are very, very, it's like something that's obvious to us. And just remember that I said this now, you're probably going to start seeing them. But there's something there that's always reminding us that you need to be doing this, do it. There's no coincidence. So start doing it, because like I said, we're the only ones that can stop ourselves. But there's nobody that's going to want it more than you. There's nobody that's going to want it more for you. You got to just do it. It's okay to mess up.
Yeah. Hello, failure equals success. Like, you have to fail to know how to go back and just fix those things, fix those little kinks and work it out to become successful. As long as you try. I think, who is it? Steve Harvey, he always say, take the leap or take the jump. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. And one last thing before we get off, because we got to get off. It's been over 30 minutes. We can talk all day about this, right? I wanted you to talk about vision and visualizing and seeing that physical goal.
Yeah.
And how important that is.
So visualization is huge, where it said if you see it in your mind, you'll bring it into your reality. So some techniques that you could do, right, is look at images, images, cut out images and get the feeling. Get sticky pads. Look, guys, if I was to show you my wall, I have sticky pads all over my walls. I have pictures where I have to see it to bring it into my reality. Going to sleep, look at the images, write down your goals before you go to sleep. And that's going to start programming your subconscious mind that you are going to get closer and closer to what you want. You have to see it in your mind clearly before it comes into your reality. You have to. So that's why you have to get the feeling and believe that you have it, and tell yourself it's done every single night. Tell yourself in the morning, it's done. That's why Napoleon Hill, and if you can't get this book, Think and Grow Rich.
I have that. Yes. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I write all in this book, but what Napoleon Hill says to do is, as you arise in the morning, write down your goals. When you go to sleep at night, you write down your goals. When you look in your mirror, have little images there. Like I have a $20 bill and I have some zeros at the end. Look at it. You have to see images to make it real, because you could visualize it, but seeing it, touching it, something tangible, it makes it even more real for you. So always remember that saying, see it in your mind, you could bring it into your reality. Everything happens to you twice in life. First in the mind, then into the physical.
Amen. Amen. And we got a couple amens on here. Amen. I'm just going to tell this quick personal story. So I was talking to Myesha about this yesterday, but before I was able to travel, I had it in my mind that I wanted to travel and I wanted to live abroad for a year. It was in my mind that that's what I wanted to happen. So what I did was, I was at work one day and I was frustrated and I was like, I'm done with this. So I took some magazines and I just started cutting out images of places I wanted to go. I'm just cutting them out, and I'm just putting them on my desk. So I put the images of all the places I wanted to travel to on my desk, and then I put a date. And I said, okay, so by March of, I think it was 2019, I want to travel to these places. And I'm going to put in my 2 weeks on this day. And so every day I would come to work, I would be so happy, I'll be excited, I'll be looking at my images, and nobody understood. They're like, Kiara, you love working here. I'm like, yep, I sure do. I sure do, because in my head, I'm looking at the images of where I'm going. I'm not thinking about where I'm at. I'm thinking about where I'm going. So that's how, using visualization, I was able to travel the world by just having those images on my desk every day that I looked at for the places that I wanted to travel to. And God made it happen. I didn't know the how, right? I didn't know the how it was going to happen, but he made it happen because I asked, I knocked, and then I received. So there we go.
Don't matter. It's not the how-tos, it's the why, and it'll start working out. So you're right. That's amazing.
Amen. So before we get off the live, because we got to go, is there any fears that anybody have that they, they're looking to get over or want to talk about that we can kind of help you get unstuck in your mind? Because it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Is there anybody want to write a fear or help somebody else with? That's exactly what I'm doing at work. Oh, Jimmy said that's what she's doing at work. She's putting up images of her goals, right? So she can get to where it is that she wants to be. All right. Well, we want to thank you ladies for showing up today. We want to thank you, Myesha.
Thank you.
For your expertise. We want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. And we're going to have you back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
We're going to have you back because you got a
Thank
lot of knowledge and you've been manifesting some things. And people need to know about the home buying process, right? And overcoming their fears of being able to buy a home. And you were able to do that.
Yes.
So we're gonna have you back. So thank you. And if you guys want to, Myesha, can you give them your Facebook or wherever they can find you at?
Yes, you could just type in Myesha Knibbs to find me on Facebook. So it's Myesha and it's Knibbs. And if you want to catch me on Instagram, it's Coach MYE. So it's Mary. So M as a Mary, YE. All right. So thank you so much, ladies, for watching. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for the invite. I really had fun with this.
Yay! See you guys later. Have a good Sunday.
Bye.